Good morning. It is great to be back, but let me tell you, it came with some technical difficulties. So I'm on this old webcam. I think it's working. It's a little bit crooked, but hey, that's okay. All right, let me go ahead and get set up. Let me see if I remember how to do all this. Post questions in the chat. Let me get my disclaimer rolling. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I guess that's about it. All right. Well, I think I'm all set up now. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me catch you up on my last couple of weeks between the snow and then some sickness that tore through my family. I have been not working, it feels like, but I'm happy to be back here today. Let's see. We've still been moving a little bit. I've just been on kid duty. Wouldn't change it for anything. I'm super thankful that I was able to do it. And still, you know, not have to take off any time or get permission from someone to be off. But we've got 19 properties under contract. It seems like we're at a little bit of a standstill. We closed on 3 or 4 properties last week, but I say we're at a standstill because we're only closing on 1 property today of these 19. And I guess whenever the snow came through, it really pushed the title company back. They lost a couple of days. So not nearly as many of our properties are clear to close as we would like. We're also getting some judgments and liens popping up on a couple of them. So it's delaying a little bit, but that's okay. So of those 19 we've got under contract, one of those is closing today. We've had a lot of private lenders approach us recently, so that's made things significantly easier as far as financing goes. So over the past 3 or 4 months, we've been buying somewhere around just a little bit short some months, but I would say on average we've been buying about $1 million worth of properties per month, and that feels really cool. But consequently, we're burning through money really quickly. I say that as in like we're acquiring properties, but private investors or private lenders are very, very helpful. And since they've been wanting to finance more properties for us, it makes acquiring properties significantly easier. So our total property count now is up to 215. So far in 2022, we have closed on 20 properties. Oh, nope, my number is not correct. I didn't update it. I've been off my game here. All right, now we're good. We're at 217 properties. 217 and 19 more under contract. So our 2022 closings, we're at 20. But again, we've got 19 more under contract. So our initial goal was to buy 200 properties this year. And if we're able to hit that, that comes out to be about 17 properties per month. So in January, we purchased 11. And so far in February, we've purchased 9. So after today, that would be 10. So we're coming up a little bit short, but we've got 19 under contract. So hopefully, we can get some clear to closes. Hopefully we can get most of these 19 purchased in February. That way we could make up for the 6 we missed in January and then hit 17. So that would put us on track because that would be 39 properties and we should technically be at 34 at the moment. So hopefully that's the case. But it's okay if not, because we're having tons of fun. Really having the time of our lives doing all this and building this business out and doing all these things. It's been rough, man, but it's okay. Yeah. Between the weather and some sickness in the family, I've been off kilter for a little bit for the past like 3 weeks or so. But that's okay. I'm back at least for the live stream today, and then I'll be headed back home to help out and close one property. So somewhere in between. All right. Well, as usual, any kind of questions that you might have, go ahead and throw those in the chat. Happy to answer those. In the meantime, I will think of some cool things to say. We've had a lot of judgments pop up on some of these properties, and that's delayed things, but that's quite all right. Let's see here. Prop stream. If you're not on that yet, you probably should be. I've pinned the comment with that link below. What historic neighborhoods in Dayton would you like to see restored to its prime? I don't really think I have any because I think they're well on their way to being restored. I think historic neighborhoods are not forgotten. And I think, since they get to benefit from the comps of other historic neighborhoods, then people are already motivated to invest there. So generally, prices in the historic neighborhoods are pretty high. And generally, people that enjoy flipping properties are already focused on those areas. So, I think they're not going to be back to their prime until all of Dayton is back to its prime. But I think those historic districts are pretty protected and well underway. Neighborhoods that I would like to see restored back to their prime are obviously, like University Row. They've got some massive, beautiful homes over there, kind of on the west of Salem. I think Westwood. I think that would be really cool because most people would tell you that Westwood is probably the worst part of Dayton. So if Westwood is restored to its prime, then the rest of Dayton should be sitting really pretty. So I think that would be a fantastic thing for the city, is if Westwood could get restored pretty well. But we're going to have some really big commercial players come in and step up their game and have the desire to serve those areas in order for it to get, you know, pretty well rounded. Because when you get over into the Westwood, you gotta take some crazy routes to get to any amenities outside of the, I don't know what they call them, the like little food market type things with like bars over the windows and whatnot. What's up, man? Are you changing your strategy now that crypto seems to be slowing down a little bit? Are you ready to get into real estate now? But I don't know. I think as far as investments go, with everything that's happening at the moment, I would say tangible things are probably the best bet. I don't know. I don't fully understand what's happening with the truckers and whatnot, but I've seen a few things about whoever that Canadian fella is uh, freezing people's bank accounts, and that's no good. Nobody wants their bank accounts frozen, and I'm not so sure that government should have the ability to do that. That's how I feel, though. Let's see. Any real estate questions? Since the sickness has torn through my family, this will most certainly be the longest stint that I have spoken um, in like one consecutive time in quite some time. So some congestion might still come out. So I might have to cut it short. I don't want to be snorting in the microphone or anything. It's a little bit slow, but hey, I mean, it's to be expected since I missed 3 weeks in a row. Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. I think everybody's on the mend. We'll see, though. Only time will tell. This was a fun question. Let's see. Let's see if I've got any other opinions. South Park seems to be probably the one that took off first, I would say. That's the one that when I first moved here, I heard everyone talking about. And properties that were getting flipped over there were doing really well. Let's see. If I were to try to be strategic about how to fix Dayton, though, I don't think the historic districts would have much of a role in that. And the only reason I say that is I'm not against historic districts. They just have so many advocates for them already. So there's already a group of people pushing for those areas to be restored appropriately and for the preservation of those communities. They'll get you real quick if you try to violate one of their little rules. So for those reasons, I don't spend too much time thinking about the historic district because they're already in good hands. Um, we're starting to see it a little bit on streets like Harvard, where there are some awesome properties that are now being listed for like the high or the for around 200,000 or the high 100,000s, which I think is really good. Those homes anywhere else would command significantly more than that, but it's good to see that they're starting to climb a little bit. But again, that's like the Dayton View or University Row, whatever you want to call that area. I know they're two different areas, but I can't really tell them apart in my head. I think it'll. I think it'll. I think the rising interest rates will. Uh, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question because, like, on one hand, it's probably going to make some level of impact because I think we saw a flood of money come into the market because of the low interest rates because money's never been cheaper. Um, and you're able to get these on like fixed long-term loans, which is a fantastic deal. But at the same time, if you look at the historic interest rates, we're still on like the lower threshold. So I don't think I think 8%, maybe 9% is like the middle ground. Like once we start going over 8%, I would say that that would be unusual. And then we would be on the historic, on the higher end of interest rates. But I think we're a long way from 8%. And I think that when you're talking about, historically, the average rate of inflation is 3.22% per year. And that was that statistic comes before they printed all of this money. So that number is going to go up a little bit just because of the amount of money that's been printed. And, we're already looking at like some people say 7%. That's what the official stats are coming out as. But, if it hits like 11, 12, 13%, I wouldn't be too surprised. So that would factor in a lot. But with the average rate of inflation being 3.22% per year, then when people are still getting loans for that 3 to 4% mark, it's pretty much free money if you factor in for inflation. And since inflation is at 7%, and that's the numbers that the government's been putting out, but loans are still under 7%, then the interest rates, it's still a great time to get a long-term loan because it's pretty much free money. I'm thinking of starting to invest in Cleveland from out of state. Well, you were in state at one point. How are your Columbus properties doing? I don't think out of state investing is bad so long as you regularly visit. I think I'm going to start simplifying my advice on that, because so long as you're regularly coming out and looking at your properties and getting some hands-on, double checking your contractors and property management companies, then I think you'll be okay. It's when you want to be out of state and completely passive, that's when you start getting kind of raked unknowingly. Well, don't be fooled. For sale by owner doesn't necessarily mean by owner. It just means not a realtor. So it wouldn't be uncommon for a wholesaler to get a contract on a property that's off market and then put that into the MLS as a for sale by owner. That's a tactic that some of them use. Yeah. I'm fearful to get into real estate because it's not my strong suit. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That's fair. I'm sure you have done a lot of like self-education on crypto. So if I were you, I would feel the same way. While I have tried to educate myself on crypto quite a bit, um, I'm still most comfortable with real estate, but I know significantly more about real estate and have a lot more experience in real estate versus crypto. Yeah. Thanks, man. Um, yeah, I think real estate's definitely the way to go. So long as, you know, the laws of the country allow for, private ownership of property. So until that changes, it's a fantastic investment. There's just so many different things you can do with real estate that make it more advantageous than things like crypto. Um, a lot of that though has to do with the tax benefits, being able to depreciate the property, using leverage. I know there's leverage in crypto, but um, the leverage in real estate is significantly less risky. and it's amortized over 30 years. So you can use other people's money to get into it. I guess in theory, you could probably do that with crypto as well. But again, the appreciation, the tax benefits, I think it's still safer. Thinking of buying my first foreclosure. I've never been a homeowner and just getting to know the business aspect of it all. Are you going to buy that first foreclosure for you to live in or for you to make it an investment property? You know, I'm helping a few people at the moment, and none of them own their own home, but they're about to start buying some rental properties. And I think it's completely okay not to own your own home and to buy investment properties first. And I think in some ways it's safer. And I think it's safer in some ways, especially when you live in markets like Dayton, where they're still extraordinarily affordable. Like the most that one of these guys is paying is $700 a month, which is really cheap rent. So you're insulated from unknown expenses. If a roof goes out, it's not your problem. And if a roof goes out where you live at, it's fundamentally different than if it goes out at an investment property, because at least you could calculate some return on investment if you're replacing a roof on an investment property. Whereas if it's a roof for a house that you live in, it's just kind of a sunk cost. I have this conversation with myself a lot as I'm walking around looking at all the things that I should probably do on my personal home that I would do in a heartbeat if it was an investment property. But since it's my house, it's a sunk cost. No return on that one. For my mother, who's never owned her home, you're going to rent to mom. Mom's going to be your first tenant. I'm sure my mom's watching this, so I guess I would allow my mom to be my first resident too. But mama better pay on time. It'll probably be all right if she didn't, though. I think it's a good idea, and I think that's probably safe. Renting. We have purchased a lot of properties from small time investors that filled up their first couple of investment properties with their family. And ultimately, it's never, we don't buy properties when it's worked out fantastic for all parties, right? We only buy properties from people that are doing this the wrong way. So they're paying really low rents. There's a weird sense of entitlement to the property. Just make sure it doesn't get fuzzy. But that's advice anytime you're dealing with family and business. Just be very clear from the beginning about everything. Thanks, Stephanie. I really appreciate that. I definitely have missed doing this over the past 3 weeks. I think I'm going to have to cut it pretty short. This is the most. So the only when I say I got sick, I very seldom get sick, and I'm very thankful for that. But this past time, the only thing that really happened is I got congestion, and I also lost my voice. So I was unable to speak for like 3 or 4 days, and my voice came back, and it's been rough. But this is going to be the longest that I have talked in quite some time, and it's starting to get a little bit tough. So I wanted to get on here because I didn't want to miss four weeks in a row, but I'm starting to feel that some funny things are going to happen if I keep talking. From one Ryan to another. Thank you. Yeah, it's a good name you got. My middle name is Anthony, and for a while in elementary school, I thought about going by Anthony, and it just never felt right. Ryan's a solid, easy name. There's not much effort that goes into saying it. Just a nice one syllable name. Is there still many homes on the MLS in Dayton? How long is the average mark? I would say so. Let me look at our spreadsheet real quick. So we've got 19 properties under contract. Let's see here. I'm going to count the ones that came off the MLS. So of the 19 properties that we currently have under contract, 10 of those came from the MLS. So there are still good deals to be had. And, it's no secret. When properties come on the MLS, if they're in the area that we want to invest, we submit offers on most of the things that are listed that aren't clearly listed for homeowners by people that have flipped properties. So if a property comes on the market for like 130 or 120, we're not going to mess with it. But if it comes on the market for 80, we might offer 50 and try and settle somewhere in between. So I would say don't be bashful when now you don't want to submit something so low that it's just kind of insulting. And a lot of the times if it's listed for 80, we settle for somewhere around 60, 65. So I would say it's not unusual in this market, at least, for people to put like a padding of $25,000. The other 9 just came from wholesalers or off market from realtors. I try to keep in really good communication with realtors so that they send us stuff. Good morning. I don't know what that means, Rick. Dom. The only Dom that I'm familiar with is back in my, physical fitness kinesiology days of delayed onset muscle soreness. So, is it leg day for you, Rick? Let's see. I don't know. There are some properties on the market for a couple months. I would say if it's a good deal, it wouldn't be unusual for that property to go pretty quickly. We've put a lot of properties under contract as of late, inside like the first 12 hours they've been listed. So we try to be pretty quick. Days on market. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, if it's a good property, it'll probably go quick. If it's mispriced, like if it's priced too high, it could stay on there for a couple of months. And all of the ones that are on the market right now that have been on there for quite some time, it's because of they listed for way too high and they're just being stubborn and unrealistic about what that property's worth, which is fine. People have a right to do that. Foreclosure listings. PropStream makes it really easy just because they're able to, they just aggregate so much data. So if a property is in the foreclosure status or the initial filings have started, then they're going to show up on PropStream, which is pretty solid. Other than that, there are some other sources that you could do. I mean, auction.com has some of its own weird listings, but Each municipality has like its own foreclosure process, and you should be able to go onto the World Wide Web and type in like Montgomery County foreclosures or Montgomery County sheriff sale, and whatever market you're looking at, you should be able to pretty easily find all of the initial foreclosure listings and where they're at in the process. So I wouldn't get too caught up in trying to log on to different websites, because at the end of the day, they're all going to pull a lot of their information from the county. So you could also just go straight to the county, and then PropStream. I mean, it does a few more things than that, but between PropStream and the county, I think you've got all the websites and all the information you need. Nope, I only invest in Dayton. And while there's still good deals to be had here, I think we're gonna hold strong to that. We might branch out if this market dries up, or if there's some other kind of strategic play. So we'll see. Let's see here. We've been on here for 32 minutes, and this voice of mine is starting to get a little shaky. So let's see if we can make it to 45 minutes. Call today. Yeah, man. Come on up. You wouldn't be the first. Another guy's in the process of moving from California to Dayton to take advantage of this awesome market. I mean, truly, there's like 10,000 vacant homes still in the area. And as remote work becomes a more common thing in corporate America, and as people are able to take their big California or West Coast salaries and move to affordable markets and keep their same job security, I think that alone is going to cause the nation to kind of balance out as far as housing prices go. So it only makes sense if you have a solid job that allows you to work remote, that you take that opportunity to move to a place that has a very affordable cost of living. Start investing in some properties, start living for real cheap, start, building up your money. And I mean, that play alone can cause you to level up really quickly. And I mean, you could change your entire financial trajectory really quickly. When my wife and I moved up here, we made sure that we lived on less than $2,000 a year. We did that. I mean, $2,000 a month. We did that for 2 or 3 years, and that made a world of difference for us. We were able to save so much money. We were able to invest in so many properties. It's a really solid move. All right. Well, hey, if there are no questions, I'll probably call it a day. Probably holding back like 2 to 3 minutes worth of coughing. So, all right. Well, hey, it was great seeing you guys again, and it was really fun at least doing a mini live stream. So next week, Friday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard, I'll be right here. Thanks, man. Yep, next Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard. I will see you here.